If you're married, you are fucked. Unless you have a woman who's actually committed to you long term and doesn't plan on leaving you. Yeah, I had a long-term relationship, a long-term marriage, 23 fucking years. And I thought it was a lifetime deal. Nope. It was a lifetime deal with the clause that I be her bitch. That's right. You know, they go, oh, women love to say this shit. Love is unconditional. No, it's unconditional for you. You should at all costs, at all times, in every instance, love them no matter what. And accept them and coddle them and put up with all their manipulative shit and give them what they want. But when it comes to them, oh, love is conditional. There's a condition on everything. You don't get sex unless she's not going to work around the house if. Oh, there's conditions left and fucking right. But when you get down to it, when you get to the demanding and the threat phase, what comes next? The use of force against you. The one thing a woman doesn't have against men. And once again, I challenge any woman. You want to fucking get in the ring with me? Right? I don't want to hear this shit women are now MMA. Go ahead and put a 150-pound bitch up against me. She can hit me all day long. It ain't going to fucking hurt. And don't tell me that women know how to punch. Yeah, they can punch. It's going to fucking hurt. So what? Right? When this fucking hammer comes down in a boxing match, in a fucking full contact event, women cannot stand against men. They can't do it. So what do? Right? What do? They get other men to do their dirty work for them. The slimy little whores. Who do they get? Right? If you're not married to them, they get a white knight to come after you. Or a group of white knights. Right? They go get another boyfriend when you're not looking and have him come after your ass. Then she has the two of you fight it out over her skanky ass. And then the victor, he wins, or both men go to jail, or you go to jail because, oh, she felt threatened and her new boyfriend had to protect her and you were the aggressor. They'll lie like a motherfucker. And where do they lie? Where do they do it? What's their venue, right, for this form of manipulation, this form of control? The evolution has turned to using the police and using the courts. Whether or not you're married, they don't give a fuck. They'll threaten you with the police, and they'll call the police and destroy you, have you arrested, and lie about it in court. In divorce court, they'll fucking lie. They'll lie their asses off. They'll even lie to themselves. They're like Hillary Clinton. They lie about lying. Ain't that a fucking wonderful trick? Fucking beautiful, huh? What a system we have. No wonder there's Mgtow. You dumb fucking cunts. Don't you get it? You fucking brought this on your own sorry asses. And as Mgtow, we need to understand that. This isn't our fault. This isn't my fucking choice to be this way. You cunts pushed it. You pushed it and you fucking pushed it and you pushed it. And here we are. Welcome to the fucking party, right? And as Mgtow, we still face retaliation from other men through government action. The police, right? The police. The police. This dumb cunt of a friend of my ex-wife's, right? She'd been married 4 fucking times. 4 fucking times. And all 4 of these guys hit her. Hit her. Beat her senseless. And her new husband, his name was Mike. What a fucking great dude. What a good man. Unfortunately, he didn't know the game he was playing. Right? Because this chick was blonde. She was hot. She had a great ass. Good titties. Right? She could act all feminine and pretty, but actually she was a fucking bitch. A self-centered bitch. I spent enough time around her, listening to her, talking to her, even having private conversations to get in her fucking head and find out what happened. You know, why were these men beating her? Well, her new husband, right, this great fucking guy, Mike, he goes, John, after a few years, I realized what it is. This bitch will get up in your face and get up in your face, and she won't back off until you have to punch her to get away. And he goes, I'm not falling for that fucking trick. He goes, that was the fucking trick. Is she'd get him to a position where they'd have to hit her, and then she'd fucking destroy them with the police and destroy them in court. That's right. The art of manipulation has gone from passive to passive-aggressive to totally aggressive. And I'm not even talking about women that violently attack men. And then, of course, call the police and say the man attacked them. You know, lying. Women are great at it. Right? If that was a fucking virtue, if lying was a virtue, all women would go to heaven. If it was a virtue, but it's not. It's not. Right? It's not. And the final step, guys, in this progression or evolution of manipulation is going to be to manipulate government itself. And that's already going on in England, Canada, and it's starting in America, where a woman uses government power through legislation to take your manhood from you. That's what they're doing. They're passing laws so you can't catcall. You can't even look at them in a lot of countries now without them feeling threatened. Right? Unless they want to attract you, you don't have any right to look at them. They consider that a rape threat. You can't talk to them. It's a rape threat. And if they have consensual sex with you, they can change their mind after the fact, ex post facto, mala in se. It's now a crime to have sex with a woman who becomes disgruntled with you. Can you fucking believe it? That's now a law in many places. Starts in the judicial, and then they say, this is great, this is fucking working out great, let's push for it through the legislature, through parliament, if you will. Right? It's gone from passive to passive-aggressive to violent. When you use the government to steal one person's stuff and give it to another, that is a form of aggression. It's a destructive form of aggression. And that's what men have to face. So what's the solution? What's the answer? Right? Be a man. Go Mgtow. Realize what you're facing. And if you're in a position where she can control you just because she's had sex with you, you don't want to have sex with her. Right? You're now, men are now being forced to leave women altogether. Altogether. Because of the threat against their life. Because it has become, through the legislative act, the mere engagement into a relationship with a woman, not marriage, just a relationship, results in exposure to you as a man to the force and power of government. That is its ability to confine you in prison or punish you financially through the court system. It's no wonder men are running from relationships, refusing to marry, right? And instead saying, fuck it, I'll spank it, right? I'll watch some porn, that's exciting. Get it off, right? Champagne of victory, as Bill Burr says. Just fucking rub one off. All of a sudden, you don't need women again. Try it, right? You're like, fuck, that was great, right? Watched a little porn. Some dumb cunt that gets butt fucked, right? She got her $1,000 for the act. How many men get satisfied from that? Phew. How many men are saved by porn, right? Some woman takes her money up front to do a porn video, saves thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for us out here because we don't have to fucking risk ourselves anymore, right? It used to be a joke, masturbation. Well, the bitch wouldn't give me any, so I jerked off. No big fucking deal, right? That's Bill Burr's joke, right? Take one for the team. Be a man. Now you're gonna have to fucking masturbate as a form of self-defense. Oh, the laws are coming, guys. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Look ahead. Look ahead in the fucking future. Where if a woman says she's interested in a relationship, you're gonna have to agree. What laws are they gonna pass? Right? A law that requires you to have babies with them so they can screw you over and use the courts to steal your shit? Right? Some save the human race legislation. Oh, for the good of humanity, you've got to be fucked in the head by women. Right? It went from passive to passive-aggressive to fucking violent, and then to use the violence and punishment of government against us. Yeah, I think in hindsight, it was a good fucking idea to give these women the right to vote. Good fucking idea, right? I go to Lodge, right? There's this old guy. He's like, hey, you got a kitchen pass. You're allowed out. You can come out and hang out with the guys. I was like, look, motherfucker. And I told him this, but I didn't call him a motherfucker because he's an honorable man. But I said, look, if it wasn't for you giving him the right to vote, right, I wouldn't be faced with these fucking troubles. And he just shuts the fuck up. What's he going to say? Well, I'm not that old. I go, geez, you could have fooled me, you fossil, right? And give him a hard time fucking rogering back. But that's what we face. And that's it. You know, the progress or the evolution of manipulation. We're in the thick of it, guys. You've got the defensive tools now. It's called Mgtow. And it can be as extreme as we need it to protect ourselves as men. And we're going to need that protection. By the time they get to this shit where they're going to start asking for legislative alimony, just based on the fact that they have a vagina, right? Hopefully we're strong enough. Hopefully men at that point realize what's going on. Hopefully there'll be Mgtow political action committees. Hopefully the men's rights movement will hire some decent fucking attorneys, right? But the further we move into the gynocentric way of thinking, the less logic and reason will be invested in the system. We face it, man. We face some big fucking trouble. Big fucking trouble. Here it comes. Right? We got to be ready. So we're fortunate now to have YouTube. We're fortunate as men, right? Men, to see it and to get ready for it. Start armoring yourself with the tool of intellect. Right? Mgtow is freedom. Mgtow is freedom. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell next to it. It'll send you alerts. Thumbs up this Mgtow video, all Mgtow videos, all Mgtow channels. Whether you like them or not. Whether you like my presentation style or not, give it a fucking thumbs up. Right? Same with the other guys. Whether you like their shit or not, give them a thumbs up. Because the more thumbs up, the more views, the more it's spread around, the more Mgtow will go mainstream. And I don't want it because it's a fucking popularity contest. I don't want that. What do I want? I want men to be free. Right? Free. And once you're free, right, you'll realize your power. The sanctity of man. Right? And stop allowing ourselves to be punished and manipulated and controlled by these whores. And that's what they are. Whores. Okay, and I also want to thank you guys who have sponsored me through Patreon. There's a link in the description if you want to do that. If you want to buy me a drink, buy me a stogie, I won't say no. You know, I'd love to meet you guys and sit down and have a fucking drink, right? But it's kind of an impossibility because this isn't a network in my city. This is a network around the world now that's developed because of the internet, right? And if you guys know me, if you see me on the street, those of you who live in the same city I do, just say Mgtow out loud to me. I wonder how many guys know who the fuck I am and never say anything. Right? Every now and then I'll hear it. I'll hear Big John from across the parking lot. I'm like, who the fuck knows me, right? It must be this. It must be YouTube that's done that. You know. But I'd like to just come up and fucking say hi. I'd like to meet someone, right? I'm not that fucking scary to look at. You know. Anyways, you guys rock. Thank you for your comments. That's probably the single most important thing you can do is leave a comment for other men to read. And then, of course, telling other men to come here. Come to this channel, to all Mgtow channels. Find the one, the presentation style, the information that you like the most. Right? That's important. But definitely sharing the idea, the concept with other men. Whether they're old or young, married or single. But especially the young single guys and the young engaged guys and the young guys that are just married. They don't know what they're in for. They need some fucking help, right? I didn't have that help as a young man. As masculine as my dad was, as masculine as my stepdad was, it didn't fucking help me because they didn't teach me this stuff. Because they were old school on what relationships were and expectations and beliefs. That fucking game is long gone. I'm sharing the current rules, and I'm also looking into the future and seeing what's coming for us next. And that's why I'm going to keep doing this channel. Because Mgtow is freedom. Semper Fi.